Are you excited that it's National Lumpia Day? Should I make Lumpiang Sariwa? Yes? Yes? Okay, thanks for the advice. I'll go ahead and make it.
If you've never had Lumpiang Sariwa before, you gotta try it at home. It's a delicious, non-fried alternative to the classic lumpia you know. I was overwhelmed setting up this recipe because it calls for so many ingredients. But the cooking process is super easy. This recipe is broken up into 3 parts: the filling, the sauce, then the wrapper. Let's start with the filling. All these ingredients make up the filling, which is basically a bunch of veggies and your choice of meat thrown in together. You don't have to be a stickler to the ingredients I used, just choose a combination of soft and crunchy ingredients. Heat your oil for sauteing your veggies and meat. By the way, I don't really pre-measure my stuff when I cook. Just eyeball it. The more you cook, the more you'll learn how much is a good amount to put in. I like to add the garlic to the oil as soon as possible, since it has more time to integrate with the oil. Back to eyeballing. If you're just starting out cooking, you can do it. This is how you can get more comfortable with cooking, by the way. Just a few years ago, I was terrified of cooking. Just go ask my sister, she knows. I took half of one of those ground beef packs from Costco because that's what I had in my freezer. You can use ground chicken, turkey, pork, or shrimp depending on what you have on hand, or no meat at all. Make sure to separate this really well because you want to avoid big lumps of meat. Jicama will add a nice crunch to our lumpia. Cut them up into little sticks and throw them in there. Next up is cabbage, thinly sliced. How I estimated my ingredients is I kind of took a look around and saw how many veggies I had and eyeballed them all together to see that they were about the same ratio. Okay, so next we have tofu chopped up into cute little tiny cubes, and then grated carrots because crunchy carrots give me the heebie-jeebies. I do not like crunchy carrots. Snow peas, thinly chopped. I was going to use string beans, but I found that this was cheaper at the store and it looked fresh and crunchy. Bean sprouts. We already have so many veggies, but I like bean sprouts. I did this to myself. Alright, now add a little bit of water to add some moisture and to help the mixture cook faster. Let's add some freshly crushed black pepper to taste. I think that's about a good amount to taste. Then comes the holy grail seasoning. Fish sauce, aka patis. Your dish just got 10 million times tastier. Stir occasionally until the meat and veggies are thoroughly cooked. Set it aside and we'll work on our sauce next. Okay, this part I'll give you some measurements so the sauce comes out at a good thickness. This is 2.5 cups of water for your sauce and about 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. Take only about 1/4 cup of water from the bowl and set the rest of the water aside. Mix in the cornstarch little by little. Whisk vigorously to remove all the lumps. Always mix your cornstarch in with water before you add it to anything, or else you're gonna get a lumpy mess. We're gonna set this aside for now and start on the base of the sauce. Take the rest of the water you just had, along with 3/4 cup of brown sugar. I'd say 1/2 cup of sugar would be just fine since 3/4 cup was too sweet for me. Then add 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. I will fight to get every drop out. After that is 1/4 cup soy sauce. Ugh, I can't believe I dropped peanut butter on the counter. Then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Whisk those together very well. Wait for a few minutes until it comes to a boil, then add 2 cloves of minced garlic. This is 1 cup of crushed almonds. The traditional way calls for crushed peanuts, but guess what I had in my pantry? Almonds. So we're gonna use almonds. Wanna see how to crush these things the manual way? Adding the almonds gives your sauce a thicker consistency. Let that boil for a few minutes to cook the almonds a bit, then grab your cornstarch mixture. You need to mix the cornstarch mixture again because it settles on the bottom pretty quickly. Pour it in, and your mixture will go from 0 to 100 in thickness pretty quickly. Whisk that vigorously. Let it boil for a few minutes, stirring occasionally, then remove from the heat and set aside. Now, let's make a wrapper. In a clean bowl, combine 1.5 cups water and 1 cup of cornstarch. Same here, add the cornstarch in little by little and whisk vigorously again. I'm serious about the vigorously part. 1 teaspoon of oil to add a teeny bit of moisture and 1 teaspoon of salt. Add 3 eggs, adding them one at a time and whisking between each egg. Set that aside and heat up your pan. Use a nonstick spray and coat the pan. Ladle your mixture in the pan as if you're making a thin crepe. This is a huge crepe. You'll see that it's ready once the edges start to pull away from the pan. Let's skip the part where I struggled to flip it over. Oh my god, okay, so epic fail. Just fix it and be careful not to tear the wrapper like I did. Oh my god. Wait a few minutes for the other side to cook, then transfer to a plate. And that's a wrap! Almost. Time to put it together. Wrangle together your filling, your wrapper, and your sauce. Grab a lettuce leaf and lay it on top of your wrap. Put in as much filling as you want. This is your Lumpiang Sariwa. It's bothering me that the video is out of focus, but you get the idea. Now fold it in half. Be careful not to tear it. That is a huge Lumpiang Sariwa. Oh my god, I cannot finish this. Grab your sauce and slather it all over the top. I like a lot of sauce because I have a sweet tooth, but also because the filling doesn't really have too much flavor. A lot of it comes from the sauce. And finally, green onions on top. Ta-da! How could we make something so beautiful, so gigantic? I know, it was a lot of ingredients and steps, but it's well worth it in the end, I promise. So go try it at home.